This morning, as I was leaving the house, I was talking with my wife, Catherine, and I said, "What do you say about Barb?" She's that person that's always in the background, always there. And to my mind came a vision of the Golden Gate Bridge. And I thought, everybody looks at the bridge, but nobody looks at the abutments, those concrete posts that hold that bridge up. That's Barb. She's held up the bridge for everybody.
Since joining the board in 2007, I've been consistently impressed with her leadership ability, her dedication, and her professionalism. In terms of community leaders, Barb is the best of the best.
My favorite memory of Barb is when I came over to do a foundation hour after I joined the Duneland Chamber. I was a little uneasy in the room. I didn't know many of the people that were there. She was kind enough to introduce me around and then told me a story about my father that I hadn't heard before. It was a very endearing moment for me. I got to learn a little bit more about my father, and she made me comfortable in a room where I hadn't been extremely comfortable. And then also showed me that she never makes it about her. It's always about the mission, it's always about the other people, it's always about driving things forward.
I met her through working with non-for-profits. I was terrified of Barb. She would walk in a room and literally the room would go silent. So her presence has been in my life for a very long time. I'm no longer afraid of her though. Right before Housing Opportunities was going to purchase Christian Community Action, I called Barb and said, do you have any advice? And her advice was, jump off the roof and hope your parachute opens. And that has been something that has stuck with me since she told me that.
What is the funniest thing Barb ever said at a meeting? Said no one ever. Barb is not a comedian.
One time I remember in a meeting, she was telling us a story, and I believe she was using it as an example. And she said Jimmy Buffett, and everyone kind of, what? And she looked up, and then she proceeded and she said Jimmy Buffett again, and everyone kind of laughed and chuckled, and she had no idea, and someone finally said, didn't you mean Warren Buffett? She turned all colors of red.
I always enjoyed being with Barb in virtually any setting. The best memory I have of her, she, as you know, is a very fine golfer. I am not. She is the most gracious person on the golf course, even though she's playing fabulous and I'm not. And that skill at making you comfortable, even though you're not even close to her skill level, is a gift.
My favorite memory of Barb is watching her strategize to address a community issue and then leading the work necessary to successfully address that issue. And I can't think of anyone who does it better than she does.
I think my favorite memory of Barb was when Dave Rose and I got in her Miata together, and the look on her face was, this is going to be expensive. You can't put 600 pounds in a Miata and not break something in a big way. We drove it around. I barely could get my foot off the clutch, and we had a lot of fun with that car and gave it back to her reasonably intact.
She probably doesn't know it, but I think she's probably calmed me at times. She probably would ask the question, when and how, because she probably doesn't think I'm calm. And maybe it's just age that has calmed me, but I think Barb has influenced that also.
She has been an incredible mentor. She's been able to open the doors for me. She's made introductions, and she's helped me accomplish things that I wanted to do and needed to do. And she's done so selflessly.
I learned a lot about professionalism from Barb. I learned a lot about how to carry yourself in public, how to represent your organization. And I still think of that frequently as we talk about professionalism and how do we want to look publicly. Very frequently I'll think about Barb and the foundation.
My grandfather served on the Community Foundation board, as did my mom. And my kids are now growing up in this community, and the work that Barb has done for this community through the foundation will have a lasting impact on my family for generations to come.
Barb has had a tremendous influence on my life at a lot of different levels. She has been a tremendous role model. I have watched her over time, the way she carries herself with such grace and with incredible integrity.
Barb's impacted me in a pretty deep way because she has taught me the joy of philanthropy. And everybody talks about being better to give than receive, and Barb's shown me the way to actually realize that.
Barb is such an organized person. My guess is she's got retirement all planned out already. So I don't know what I can add except to say to her, enjoy every minute because you certainly deserve it.
Play ready golf, always replace your divots, repair your ball marks, and leave plenty of time for the 19th hole.
Enjoy, walking on the beach, even if it's in a suit coat and Bermuda shorts.
Embarrassingly, I would share with you that secretly and quietly, I've always been extremely intimidated by Barb. Nothing to do with anything that she's ever done. She's always been very cordial and very warm, but her presence has always intimidated me.
I really appreciate the role model that she's been for so many women in Porter County.
One thing I would just be deeply thankful for is that she was such a driving force in helping Porter County come to understand that we have a real issue to deal with in the world of drugs, and then pulling together a group to say, how do we begin to address this? Let's stop denying it, let's start addressing it. Barb has been one of those magnificent leaders who has just so impacted, and I think in many ways she may not even realize the health of this area.
I think she's impacted me greatly. If I had never learned about the foundation and she hadn't embraced me and got me involved when she did, I wouldn't have been involved as long as I have, and I'm proud of the work that they do, and it's really opened my eyes to the needs within our community, and it's been very important to me to give back.
From the bottom of my heart, it has been an absolute honor to be associated with you in the last 15 years. Thank you.
I would just like to thank Barb for everything that she has done for this community. The Porter County Community Foundation is a foundation, but it's also a building block for years to come to make this a great community to live in.
Thank you, Barb, for all that you've done for the community through the foundation and personally, and we wouldn't be where we are without you.
Barb, you've been a real treasure. Jan and I truly thank you for our relationship, friendship, and for what you have meant to us and for what you have done for the people of Porter County and Northwest Indiana and Valparaiso. Thank you so much.
Cheers, Barb. Congratulations.